Hello and welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to a grey day, and welcome back to, I don't actually know where I am. I took this road because I was just like, I've been recording a vlog for a while and I don't know what I've talked about. So I stopped the recording and then I've started again, and in order to get off the main road, what I've done is I've stopped and yeah, I don't know where I am. There's some nice houses down there though, so that's lovely. So what I wanted to do was talk about the channel. Holy crap, we are driving into Mordor. Wow, all right. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the channel because one of the things that I have done is got to the end of Alice Madness Returns in terms of recording. And that's a video game series based on Alice Liddell and the Alice in Wonderland series. We got Godolphin and we got Galsithany. Let's go to Godolphin, and if we can't find where we are, we'll go to Galsithany because I know where that is. So yeah, Alice Madness Returns, based on the Alice Liddell from the Alice in Wonderland stories. Alice Liddell was a real person, and there was some question over how Lewis Carroll interacted with her and her sister. Interesting, because the themes of the game got super dark. I mean, they were dark already, but then they got super dark and everything revealed itself towards the end, and I was like, I wonder if there's any parallels there. So yeah, that was a curious one. But getting to the end of the game means that we have a slot kind of in the recording schedule. Now I try and get 5 videos out a week. 4 video games. Oh, Godolphin's that way. I'm not going there. I'm going this way. We try and get 5 videos out. Well, I try and get 5 videos out a week. So yeah, 4 video games and 1 vlog. It's kind of how it is. But I've also been doing Tomb Raider, and I've been doing Stranded Deep, and we've been putting out 2 videos for Stranded Deep basically since 2016. It also is kind of curious because I've started doing 2 videos for Tomb Raider a week, and it's kind of, I'm kind of trying to get used to the schedule. There is no schedule, I'm just trying to fit them in. The only rule that I have, and it's a soft rule, is that I don't want to put 2 of the same video out, or the same like brand of video out back to back. So I'd like to have something sandwiched in between. Wow, this road is corrugated. It's a bumpy ride. Yeah. I do have another game that I want to play, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it until the end of Tomb Raider, because I think it's going to require the same sort of intensity of releases. So James will know what that video is, because James bought the game. And I'm like, I want to do this, but yeah, holy crap, that's a £500,000 house. Where are we? I genuinely don't know where I am. Godolphin Cross. These houses are lovely. As an aside, I got an email through, just apropos, you want to buy a house? And I'm like, I want to buy a house. And it's like, yeah, we have houses starting at basically £460,000 a piece. And I'm like, oh, right, I can't afford that. I can't afford it. Kind of ties, actually, it does tie into, oh, this is Godolphin Cross, right, okay, cool. It does tie into the next video that I have definitely planned on making, because the next video is Valentine's Day, and the mortgage advisor suggested that I get a girlfriend if I want to buy a house, because they can only offer a single person £80,000. That's £80,000. That's much less than the average house price in Cornwall, which is about £260,000. And I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to be in a relationship. I think I'd be quite good at being in a relationship. But it's finding the right person. And I always imagined that I would naturally find someone like just naturally. But as you can see, we live way out in the countryside, and meeting actual human beings who don't have 4 legs and go moo is, yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a very tricky one. But yeah, so the next video that I'm definitely making is the Valentine's Day one. And we've always made Valentine's Day videos. Oh, I don't want to go to Helston. Okay, I don't want to go to Helston, but I don't know where this goes. Sydney, Helston, Godolphin, Hale. Oh, yeah, we're Zen navigating. You and me and everyone else is on a ride here. Cool. So, yeah, Valentine's Day video, and I have a plan for the Valentine's Day video. And now, Valentine's Day has been something that I've done for several years. There's no playlist for them. I mean, if there is a request to put all the Valentine's Day videos into a playlist, it might get a bit messy because, mostly because we've made cakes, we've built Lego. Have we done a vlog in a car? I don't know. I think the last one was we actually played Doki Doki Literature Club as a kind of tongue-in-cheek Valentine's Day thing. And that was several episodes. That was like 10 episodes, something like that. So this year I have something planned. It's going to take a little bit longer to record. I need to set out some time, at least 2.5 hours, I figure. The trouble with recording something for a solid 2.5 hours is not the editing. The editing is actually going to be quite straightforward. I just have to go through and clean up my audio. The game's audio is going to be fine. Oops, did I? Oh, well, I'm not going to take that out. But yeah, like a game audio is fine over 2.5 hours. But the main issue is that the encoding is going to be an overnight job. You are going to be encoding overnight, which is fine. I can do that, that's not an issue. And then uploading is going to be another overnight job because you'll end up with something that's like 4.5 gigabytes in size. Now YouTube you won't be downloading a 4.5 gigabyte file when you watch it. You'll have it after YouTube has compressed the ever-loving balls out of it. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, so there is a plan for a Valentine's Day video. There is kind of a plan for another game series. I need to pull in here as we're going to get some beeps. There we go. Turn the parking sensors off for that. Oh, Cornish engine house, which you can't really see because of the hedge. Nice. Yeah, so another series. I definitely will do the one James bought, but yeah, definitely after Lara, which means kind of we're in a limbo in terms of only putting 2 games out in a week. And I don't really know if that's something that people are okay with, whether they want more variety or not. We were doing The Long Dark, and I have had a request to play a bit more of it. The trouble is, then you just do a bunch of survival games, and survival games are fine, but I don't really want to just have the channel full of them. Like, that's the only thing that we're going to be playing. The other thing is that, I mean, variety is fine. Playing older games and playing things that, oh, is that someone's driveway? All right. I was like, I'm going to follow him, but no, that is definitely a farm track and a flood. Oh. All right. As long as it doesn't reach the batteries, we're okay. The batteries behind there, because we have 2 forms of propulsion. We have the engine, which you can flood, and the batteries, which would explode. So that's a fun one. I genuinely don't know where we are. I hope we don't get to Helston because I want to get to Penzance. The Pirates of Penzance? Yeah. We might need to turn back on ourselves, but I don't know where any of these roads go, and they are this is a narrow road. The ones coming off are single vehicle width. There's none of these passing places, so if we come across a tractor, you say sorry, and then you back up. Signs, I wonder if they'll be our friends. Let's see, signs. So we have Helston, Camborne and Hale. Helston. I do not want to go to Helston. Jeez, where the heck are... If I'm Zen navigating, we should get to the coast and then be able to turn back on ourselves. Helston is where the lizard is, and we also need to give it some gas because the people behind us, this is now a main road and we're moving fast. Yeah, the people behind us are not going to want to slow down. Okay, cool. So yeah, not so much of a plan in order to replace what was Alice Madness Returns. I do have an idea. I might make one extra video for Alice, just describing all the ways that that I had to try and get the game working, because it was a 2013 game, and one of the big issues with it was that it would crash on loading. So when you were trying to load it up, and there were some nights that I would sit down to do a recording, and I just couldn't get the game working. It just would not work. I think twice we had a bit of an issue, and I was just like, you know what, I will just scrap the recording and just try and get the game loaded again. Ooh. Oh, I think we've been here before. Yes, we have. I remember that garage, and that's kind of a very difficult blind corner because it goes left and down a hill. Right, I know where we are now. I know where we are. I don't know where we are, but I've got a better idea than nowhere. Okay, cool. Got to keep your head on a swivel for this one, so I might stop talking about that. What I was talking about, Alice. And I was like, I'm looking away from the camera. You're not going to be able to hear me. I'm wearing a lav mic. It's fine. Ooh, okay. So this was an experience. Come on, you got a Land Rover Defender in my way. And now you've got a Vauxhall Vectra? Mariva? I don't know. Vauxhall is Opel, and it's also General Motors. Used to be a British company, and then General Motors bought it. So whatever. Whatever. Yeah, so I might do an extra video for Alice just describing all the ways that I got around the loading bug. So what you would do is you would try and load a save game, and the loading screen would just stay forever, and that was it. You just have to restart the computer at that point. There are ways around it, but it was very, very sensitive, I guess, very difficult to try and get the thing working. So yeah, I might do that. It's one of those videos that you record knowing that it's not something that everyone who subscribes is going to want to watch, but it's one of those things that somebody is going to download the game from Steam, and they're going to be looking for a solution, and they're going to type it into the Googles, and then just be like, So if you can be the answer to their problems and help them work, it's a video that won't get many views on the first few days, and then over time will probably pick up in terms of views. But it's just one of those ones you literally create just to help people, and I've done a few of those. Some of the most popular videos on the channel are actually not gaming videos. I did one about the Tomy Turbo turn-in dashboard, which is the little red dashboard with a little like scrolling car. It's a kid's game, and it's a mechanical game. And I did that on the Tech and Sundry playlist. I think it was the first one I did on the Tech and Sundry playlist, or maybe not. But that consistently just gets views from forums and people just kind of looking at old 80s toys. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to get people in because it's a gaming channel, but it is a useful video for people who either have the nostalgia or have bought one and the one that they bought is broken, because I take mine apart and actually fix it because it has a common fault where the little car doesn't actually, I think the road gets stuck and the car doesn't move along the road, and you actually have to take it apart, and it uses nylon gears and metal spindles. And the issue with a nylon gear and a metal spindle, especially if you've ever, I mean, you'll know it if you've ever had a Scalextric car, the little slot racing car. The nylon gears will eventually wear where the spindle is, and you need to either shim it with something, or they'll crack. They'll actually crack between the teeth, and then you need to replace the gear in its entirety. You can buy packs of nylon gears. They're little white plastic gears made of nylon. Yeah, they're made of nylon. Just because of the way it is, just because of the way things are. What's the beeping? Lane departure. Oh, right. Is the car a bit worried that we're about to crash? No. So here's the thing. When you hear that beep, the steering wheel tenses up and it kind of feels like you're riding in a groove, like you're in a marble run, because the car is just like, no, I don't want you to cross the line, but also I want to keep you on the straight, like actually in the lane. The trouble is the driving line versus Cornish roads, you tend to try and straighten out, because if you are trying to follow the road left and right, wow, one of the big ass tractors leaving mud on the road, nice. If you're trying to follow each curve, you're going to exhaust yourself, and also it's going to be an uncomfortable ride. What we tend to do is take a straighter line through the curves, especially on the country roads. But that means the lane departure just freaks out because it thinks you're about to have an accident, and you're not. That's just how you do country driving, and that's how a lot of people do country driving. So yeah, this is not. We're not in the city. We're not city driving. This isn't city folks going around here. This is definitely country driving. Good. Well, we talked about the channel. We talked about a potential Valentine's Day video. We talked about. Did we talk about? Oh God, I can't remember what I've talked about. Did we talk about dating apps and not going on them because of anxiety? Probably. I don't know. We've been through here before, and I do remember a lot of scaffolding. Ah, here we are. Scaffolding. Houses. So they've been building lots and lots of houses around here. Can't afford them. Ain't gonna be able to afford those. And they're tiny as well. They look quite big on the outside, but they'll be like 2-bedroom houses. So it'll be a living room, kitchen, diner on the ground floor, and then it'll be a master bedroom, might be even a 3-bedroom, including a box room. And the box rooms tend to be quite small in modern houses. Typically you'll turn it into a little study. A study so small that you couldn't get my current computer desk in them. Wait, what? How big is your computer desk? I have one of the old school computer desks. I've had it since I was in college, I think. I used to have 2 of them side by side in my bedroom back at my mum's place, because I had 2 computers and just a bunch of monitors and things. It used to look like Jodrell or Bank in there. It was crazy, the amount of hardware that I had. But I would just find old hardware and then try and connect it to modern hardware. So I had like an old IBM monitor, which I think was only 800 by 600, but that was there, and I had I had a brand new like Hyundai monitor, and I had Daewoo monitors, and I had, oh my God, like loads and loads of equipment in my old bedroom. And then when I moved out, just had to get rid of it all. I mean, a lot of it was just found anyway. It's the best way to learn how stuff works, if you just find stuff and then just try and connect all the plugs together, or take them apart and see how they work on the inside. So yeah, I took one of the computer desks, and it is massive. It's got a laptop on it, it's got the desktop on it, it's got the 2 mixing desks, it's got the main monitor, it's got a secondary monitor, which is actually connected to the laptop and not the desktop. But yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff, and that wouldn't fit in a box room in one of these modern houses. It's just kind of crazy though. Like, I don't know what people are doing in order to afford these new houses. I genuinely don't know. I've been here before. I've been down there before. Why was I here? It would have been years ago, and I was on a motorbike. So I was on a motorbike, and I remember being here. I think I was taking photographs. Oh yeah, I came here and then I set up and I took photographs because I was part of a motorcycle club. It wasn't like a backpatch club. It was a friendly club. We used to do charity runs and then give the money to people, hospitals, kids. There was like a run once a year, and you would get the donations, and then you would buy. It was like, I think similar to the Child's Play charity in America, and you would buy toys for kids who were spending Christmas in hospital. I think that was it. And then there was one during the end of summer that we all used to do. I mean, okay, this guy's giving it the beans, but he's also kind of in the way. We can overtake, we'll give him some space. We'll give him plenty of space. There we go. And freak out everyone else. Yeah, they changed their cycling laws in the UK. Cyclists are allowed to cycle in the middle of the road, but not on a fast road. On a fast road, they have to be within a metre of the side of the road. Cyclists have greater right-of-way over cars. So they made the right-of-way hierarchy: pedestrians, cyclists, cars. It's probably going to get someone killed, but the UK government is not known for its intelligence, so I don't know. And when we left Europe, that was pretty dumb. And now everyone's complaining that we can't afford a tin of beans because it costs too much to import this stuff. Ooh, that's one of the reasons we don't do politics on the channel, because there's just too much to talk about and too much crazy stuff going on. That was a nice house. Damn it! Actually, I need a job where I just get super rich, but I don't know where the super rich jobs are. You can't be a bank robber anymore, because bank robbery, there's no money left. Nobody has actual money, and the banks don't exist. They closed them all. So it's just like, oh, this is Resurgent. All right. It's like, okay, cool. There was a chapel for sale not so long ago. I don't think it was that one. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, there's a chapel for sale, and it was like 50,000, and I was like, oh, I could buy that. It has a mine shaft underneath it. I'm not going to buy that, mate. Yeah, the problem was that I think the people who owned it found that a mine shaft had opened up underneath it. And the thing about Cornwall, as like a county, is there are so many mine shafts. There's so many mine workings down there. You can have a survey done. Jesus, all these houses. You can have a survey done, and they'll tell you where they think the mine shafts are. These are all new. Wow, all right. And so are these, but these are really ugly. So the other ones are new but nice, and these ones are new but pebble dashed and ugly. You never pebble dash a house; it'll blow. The paneling blows, and eventually you have to replace it. Wow. Yeah. So there are mine shafts all around. Sorry, there are mine shafts all around this place, and you can get a mining survey done, and basically they'll tell you where they think the mine shafts are. What actually happens is there's a bunch of extra ones dating back to Roman times that are just not charted. There's so many things that are just not listed. And what happened there? It looks like they were building new houses and then they've just been left to rot. Weird. So yeah, you can have a house and you can be quite confident in that there's nothing there, and then just a mine shaft opens up. So the cap rots. Because they usually cap it, the olden days they might have capped it with wood or concrete or whatever, and it's rotten and it's collapsed down the shaft itself. And the shaft isn't necessarily vertical, it can be at a 45 or 50 degree angle. So it's still pretty steep, but it's definitely not something you want to open up underneath your bedroom, because you will fall into the abyss. And when you're down there, there's things like methane gas and arsenic and all the lovely stuff that you genuinely don't want inside your body. So that's fun. I do realise that we're coming up to a roundabout, the roundabout that we normally pick up when we're going down here, and many times have I said, oh, we'll go through Marazion. I don't know how long we've been recording for, because that camera does switch, does cut out every 30 minutes. And we have apparently just done a scenic tour of the West Country, which is why I'm just rambling on about any old thing at this point. Let's go and visit Marazion, because we've never been through there. It is a historic town, it is a narrow town. It is where St Michael's Mount is, but I don't know if we're going to be able to see it from the cameras. Yeah, I mean we can pick up the main roundabout from the other side. It's not actually that too much of a problem. So great, we were lost and now we are found. And now we have to do 30. All right. Those are more common. So those banks of houses are more common for Cornwall. They're old fishermen's houses, as are having chapels and things around, because the fishermen, you build 2 walls, 1, 2, and then you divide them up, and those were your houses. You'd have a 2 up, 2 down, so 2 rooms in the top, 2 rooms in the bottom, 2 up, 2 down houses, very similar to miners' houses, fishermen's cottages. Big on the chapels because the sea tended to kill quite a few people, and yeah, that's kind of traditional Cornwall for you. All these little tiny houses up here are 60s like retirement bungalows. Got to give way to oncoming traffic, and now we're in a 20 zone. To be honest, we've been doing 20 for most of this journey. Oh, St Michael's Mount, nice. So I've got a short glimpse of it. St Michael's Mount is very similar to Mont Saint-Michel over in France. As in, it's a big house on a tidal island. So it's got a tidal causeway, and the causeway disappears at high tide. They do have a duck, or at least they used to have a duck, a DUCKW, which would drive between the mainland and the other, there you go, the mainland and the Mount. If you did get cut off, if you were visiting and you got cut off, because it's just easier to get up and onto the causeway because it's a wheeled vehicle with a propeller at the back. The duck, the American duck, DUCKW, has, oh, there we go, move in a little bit, has, I think it's only like 4 knots at sea. It's really quite slow and can get swamped, so you've got to be very careful with them. They're also close to, what, 80 years old? Yeah, they're going to be in their 80s now. And they weren't very good at floating originally. You'd have to put giant bilge pumps on them to keep them above the water. They were designed to really to be used in the channel, and they were designed to be used really just to ferry stuff across inland bodies of water. They weren't designed to be used out on the ocean. I did consider getting one. Wait, what? It was this car, it was a duck, because I'm just fascinated by unusual vehicles. It was a duck, it was a Ford Mustang, a modern Ford Mustang. That was on the short list as well. So yeah, I was considering a lot of vehicles, and I ended up with this one, which is probably the best one. You can't drive it into the sea, which is a shame. I mean, you can drive it into the sea, but you'd only ever do it once. So that's fun. Yeah. So Marazion, this is Marazion. This is the town next to St Michael's Mount, and it is, it's really just a little seaside town. Probably one of the more seaside towns. There is Mousel, which is just around the coast, the other side of Penzance. If you're going there, either walk there from Newlyn or take a bus. Do not try and take a car to Mousel. You will be miserable. Miserable. Like seriously, because it is very car unfriendly. I took a seagull to Mousel once. Wait, what? An actual seagull? Yes. So I took a, it was a seagull, like an adolescent. I think it had fallen out of its nest and kind of been abandoned by the parents. And it was just kind of walking up and down the street behind Mum's. And I was just like, this thing looks kind of hungry and it's following me around. That's not normal behavior for a bird. So I gave it some water, which it nommed down, and I gave it, well, I didn't have anything else to give it, so I gave it a bit of bread, and it was just like, I need to eat. And so we were just like, yeah, we need to find a bird sanctuary to take this thing to. It turns out there's one in Mousel, well, Mouse Hole as it's written. Mouse Hole, pronounced Mousel, because we're not, ooh, that's Long Rock, that's, oh, I think we've gone the wrong way. We need it that way. It's okay. And we're very much taking the pretty route. So yeah, I took the car. I just got the car. We put the bird in a cat basket and we drove it to the bird sanctuary. And then we drove around Mousehole because we couldn't find the place. And it is literally just outside of town, in an area that is very much it's kind of like a wall with some steps in it. So I parked the car right up against the wall, and I was just like, I'm going to get my brand new car smashed up by some tourist coming down, just coming down the hill. It is very narrow, Mousehole. You don't want to take a car there. Speaking of narrow, this is a weirdly wide road for the UK. Just a strangely wide road. You could probably land an airplane on it. I don't know why they built it this wide. It's crazy, considering of all the other roads we've driven down, this one happens to be the only American designed road in the county. Don't worry, it will narrow up, as you can see. But yeah, good luck if you're a pedestrian trying to cross that. Okay, cool. Well, we're back on the beaten track. We've got to be very careful though. Cars, all of the main traffic is coming from our right. And I think we can slip in here. We don't have a turbo. What we do have is a giant electric motor strapped to the side of the regular petrol motor, which means we got the beans when we need it. Excellent. Wow, this is a familiar stretch of road. Good. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I genuinely don't know what I've talked about over the last half hour. One of the fun things is when someone says, oh, that thing you talked about. Yeah, timestamp it, buddy, because I've forgotten already. I'll obviously see it in the edit, I guess. Yeah, I do tend to watch things back in the edit. There was a buzzard flying overhead. I do tend to watch things back in the edit and just make sure I haven't said anything too bananas bonkers. But like I said, this is actually the second recording for today. I just turned off the road, stopped the recording and started it again. And I was just like, right, let's talk about something that's not complete. Because sometimes you just get distracted, or sometimes what you're actually talking about, you just go off on a tangent and then the tangent ends up like not going anywhere. And you just get that feeling of, oh, bugger. I don't really know what I've talked about, and I just don't think it's going to make for good television. So, good. This, however, well, we're well committed now. We're too far committed in order to not make the vlog. Old bean, old chum. What, old sausage. Good. Do you ever use old bean and old chum in regular conversation? Yep. Ironically? Nope. Why? Because I'm British, and sometimes you just drop in some Britishisms. Are you coming here for more tea? Oh no, I got buttloads of tea. I got some Miles tea, which is what I wanted, and then I was talking to Mum about Dorset tea. And oh my God, she found a couple of boxes of Dorset tea. So James got me Dorset tea a while ago, and it's lovely, but one of the top tip for tea, if you're making a cup of tea, filter the water. Always filter the water because it'll make a nicer cup of tea. Because tap water, while it's safe to drink in the UK, has a flavour, and you want to get rid of that flavour before you make your tea. That's my tippity top tip. Good, well, we're here again. Once again, thank you everyone who has donated on coffee. The links, I think I put the link at the top of the main page on YouTube. You don't have to do it. You absolutely don't have to do it. Just, you know, your views and your comments are good enough. But if you want to help out with electricity and things, that is really good. I have been looking at other games as well. There is one that I really desperately want to play, but it's like $55, and $55 is I can either get food or I can get or I can buy a video game. Look at my hand, also, just a little thing. There's a little dot on my hand. I don't know, you probably can't even see that. That's the result of the plier accident that I had the other day. It's just left like a blood blister there. The rest of the bruising and everything went down, so that's lovely. But I did also, I was taking a spider out. I put a spider in a glass jar. It was a wolf spider, and I was like, you're not staying here. I was going to bed, and I was just like, look, I'm gonna put you outside. I don't kill insects. I tend to put them in a glass and take them out. So I was by the front door fumbling around trying to get the latch and not drop the spider, and my push bike's there, and I managed to kick, my foot kicked the bottom of one of the pedals, and the pedals got spikes on them. So I've got a bigger hole in the bottom of my, in the top of my foot than I have in my hand, and that was a pair of pliers, and that was just a push bike. So yeah, cool. Well, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because that helps the video and makes me feel nice, and like the video if you found that us getting lost for a bit was kind of amusing. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.